news on the television, 2-for-1s on everything. Don't want no one talking to me, I just watch the flat screen, closed captions pass. Looks like gym is over, race came back. Faith is a hammer with a book for a handle, and people in power can edit the past, can put your hands behind your back to read you someone else's right. First the sirens and the lights, that looks like you're right. You're right. Your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your right. Your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your right. Your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your right. Your eyes coming, your eyes coming, your eyes coming.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hope you made it through this week. I hope you're finding some way to make change. Hope you're finding enough time to sleep and eat too. In a perfect world, this would be like a poetry reading devoted entirely to uplifting and inspiring poetry. But I did a pretty thorough look through the archives, and I don't write shit like that. So I'm sorry. This is sort of another evening of some melancholic material. But today on deck, we have a poem about avocados. We have a poem about a bird in a jacket. And we have a poem about sex, drugs, and car washes. Let's dive in. Also, for the people waving, hello Anaheim, hello Minneapolis, hello Germany, thanks for joining. This is a poem called Avocadero. Sometimes I like to imagine that I'm the first guy to avocado, the very first to pick up the leather egg, reach for my knife, and then discover the least likely of everything inside. That it holds a little wooden statue of itself, a pagan idol in its own speechless religion. That to press the geode closed again will almost heal the hemispheres together. That somehow trees have ventured into dairy, have been silently producing this confusion of melted green. And that even after it's consumed, the marvels do not cease, as you are left with tiny twin canoes in which your wonder paddles off. Avocados. They still feel like opening a tiny handheld universe when I cut them open. This time around, donations will be devoted towards rebuilding efforts in the north side of Minneapolis, which was hit particularly hard. A lot of minority and small businesses to rebuild. So here comes the Venmo information if you're inclined, and if you got the scratch to do it. If you're holding on yourself, no sweat. But this time around, I'll be matching donations up to $1,000. What's up? It's Dessa Wander. Many thanks, of course, to the graphic team here at Show of Force Majeure, led by Tom. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I'd found a sheet of words that I was trying to learn, 5 or 10 years ago. And I realized that I'm still trying to learn these words every 5 or 10 years. So here's the word of the day. It's obverse. Obverse. It means opposite. Use it in a rant when you get home. To disperse peaceful protesters with tear gas in order to pose with the holy book is the obverse of what the main character of said book might advise. Just kind of off the dome. Okay, this is a poem about a magician's prop. When I was in my early 20s, I made a lot of my living. Start again. I spent a lot of years as a face painter, making a portion of my living, and I worked with like an agency that hired a bunch of types of child entertainers. So there were definite types. Like you could always tell the caricature artists from the magicians, from the jugglers, from the other face painters. You know, it was real typecast. The caricature artists were always like fine artists who were struggling and kind of salty that they were caricaturing on the weekends. The clowns were like clowns to the marrow. You know what I mean? Like it didn't matter if they were in costume or not. That was them. That was the real self. Was Wiggles or whatever. And then I would say that both the magicians and the jugglers were sort of pervy. Not uniformly, but almost. Nonetheless, it's fun to watch a good magician. And during my breaks, I sometimes got to watch like the hypnotists or the ambulatory magician, you know, who was just like walking group to group to entertain a crowd. And every once in a while you get to watch somebody doing something pretty special. Usually catered towards kids, sometimes with some blue humor to keep the adults engaged. But I was thinking of the doves, that they have a very different vantage point on the tricks that are being performed from either the assembled audience or the magician, usually himself. So this is called the jacket dove. The scarves whisk down his shirt sleeves, and I know we're near the end. I hear the children's voices, chirping far away, their horror and delight, a challenge to discern. And my neck is turned against his pocket, where it smells of starch and sweat, where his giant heart is beating half as slow as death. And with my feet pinched between his fingers, he reveals me to a blinding light, and the world flares up around me in a dozen colors I'd forgotten before the satin lining snuffs it out again. Here in the heat, my kindness fails me. If he had a wishbone, I would break it, sing the morning song till dark. But there is nothing in him to snap or shake or soften. He is a hollow-bodied thing, built to hide some silver trinkets and this pair of useless wings. Okay, I'm gonna do one more time just for the. I can see that there's some late joiners. This time around, the proceeds of the show will be benefiting the Minneapolis Foundation, working in partnership with the West Broadway Business and Area Coalition, which are two groups that are trying to help rebuild Minneapolis. The north side, the north, suffered particular damage during the uprisings. So, flying in, that's the Venmo if you're inclined to give. If money's tight, no sweat. Just kick it. Hang out and kick it. Okay. Sex, drugs, and car washes, yeah? This is a piece from the first little book that I published with Doomtree. It's called Spiral Bound. And it's called The Greatest Remove. To extricate yourself from your daily chores and errands, you are most thoroughly removed by 1.5 grams of opium from Manali. It comes wrapped in printed foil, disguised as a silver bead. In this way, it is overlooked by the men at the airport, who are searching for it in the heels of shoes, or in the hollows of bracelets, or in the false bottoms of real suitcases, or however else it came in last year. Manali is the most remote you can get. The walls of your brain go smooth, and the ghosts of your concerns sweep past, unable to gain purchase. Legally, the furthest you can go is to another person. A new, sexually attractive person. By the love scene, when the story's all but over, you may find your numberless anxieties returning to you. But in the hour before any definite commitment has been forged, your brain is wholly occupied by the intrigue. You are racing the clock above the bar to create an impression that can land all the little dials set to yes. You are walking in a piano, stepping string to string. You must pass over all the tripwire, must sound only those notes that beautify the conversation, that make you funny and smart and not too practiced in the process. Here, your brain is too full of static charge and rum to pay any notice to the buzz of apprehension that vibrates your adulthood like a never-ending passing train. Of course, this method, in the morning, often contributes one more voice to those that must be muted to achieve another quiet moment. The greatest distance that can be obtained by legal, modest means is an American-style car wash. It is very hard to feel safe in safe places. In pastoral settings or in the arms of your great love, a considerable stake is implied. Serene moments, by their nature, are the most vulnerable to disruption. A car wash addresses these mammalian concerns directly. A car wash says, yes, there is chaos. There is danger all about. You are in the epicenter of an oceanic hell, the heart of a great turquoise volcano. The worst has finally come to pass, and yet somehow you are surviving. All the strength of man and God is battering the glass, and you are dry and warm in a diving bell with a stereo. Sometimes the bell advances of its own accord. Sometimes a light emerges from the hurricane to prompt you to pull forward. And inch by inch, you return to the world, which has been dissolved and rebuilt with all the soot and trash since you went under. Thanks. Okay, it's almost time for the walk. Can I ask, there's always a little delay when people post, but can I ask where people are listening from today, now that more of us are assembled? Oh, this is just horrible narcissism. I'm drinking from a glass branded with my own name, but it's full of Michelob Golden Light, if that's any consolation. Austin. Hey, what's up, Danine? Awesome. Denver. Cool. Okay. We're now making the walk to the window. What's up, Seattle? Vermont. Wow. Hey, that's a very varied group. ERAR, respectively. DC. Wow. Fantastic. Well, it's almost 8, so I've maneuvered myself towards my kitchen window. It may be the case that your city celebrates in the same way. It all feels different now, to be honest. Usually at this point, I open the window and I clap and I thank all the frontline workers. And now it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm clapping for anyone that can hear a clap. What a new world in a lot of much needed ways. Okay, we go up. Oh my God. We're gonna very gently maneuver Milagro Wolf, my basil plant, which is still alive after 3 weeks, which means that it's in the running for a record. And maybe just a minute early. I'm gonna clap and say thanks. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, I'm freaking out the neighbor's dog pretty hard. Those calls. Guys, thanks for joining me on another Thursday night show of Force Majeure. Also, my notifications ping when somebody donates to Venmo, so I can see them right now at the top of my screen. Thank you for your generosity. And I'll make sure in a couple days to post our total. I'm excited to be able to show up as our little tiny community to help in that rebuilding effort. It matters. So, thanks, guys. Cheers. Yeah? All right, good night. See you next week.